Hi everyone, I'm Alexandra, and this is a video about how I like to do my press-on nails. When I want to make sure that my manicure stays on, it doesn't peel or pop off, this is important to prevent oil transfer when possible, and that's why I'm wearing gloves. I'm gonna lay everything out before we get started. There are a lot of different tools that can support you as you do your nails at home. And some of my favorites are the cuticle remover I buy. In fact, I get this in bulk and I refill this because I enjoy it so much. And the other two things that stand out the most in this routine are these. One is electric, and this is a cordless electric file that can be used for many purposes. And then my cuticle pusher, but this one is sharp enough that it actually pushes off dead skin from the nail plate. Now, I think these are pretty cool. These are instant Apex nails meant to mimic a hand-sculpted acrylic nail or gel extension, but they're just press-ons. So like usual, you have to find the size so that they look natural. They shouldn't look too big and they shouldn't look reasonable but feel too big. And you also shouldn't have them too small to where the sidewalls are exposed and your natural nail shows. I want to show you the difference between these Apex press-ons and how they curve in comparison to something like this. This is a regular press-on nail and it has a little curve. Often it ends up curving down on your natural nails just because there's not enough lift. And you can see there's a stark difference to the sculpture and the curvature with these tips. I'm gonna link all of the things that I'm using here today. The only thing I have to say about these nail tips is you have to buff them one by one, which isn't my favorite. I like when they're pre-buffed, but it's okay. I'm also going to use one of these nail tools for clipping in a straight line. I like these a lot. They make a big difference and they cut down on the time it would take to shape your nail. I'm making them relatively square and just taking off a little bit. I like to make sure there's the least amount of oil on everything, even my tools. So I wear the gloves, but of course I've been touching the nails. So I'm going to remove any oils that transferred onto these press-ons using some rubbing alcohol. Now, in order to get from this to this, we're going to do some prep like trimming, pushing back the cuticles, and of course, applying the actual enhancements. But first, the prep is important. Using this steel cuticle tool, I'm pushing them back and I'm removing the dead skin that lays on the surface of the nail plate. This, if you leave it on and you don't remove it, can prevent your nail enhancement from staying on for a long time. In fact, you want your nail prep to be so good that you are the one who decides when your nails come off. Now I'm using this attachment. You see, these are so little that they can fit into the little area underneath the cuticle and remove some of that dead skin off of the nail plate. And it looks and sounds a little intense, but look, you can put this onto the skin and you don't feel any pain. It is so gentle. Now I take the gloves off and I'm gonna soak my hands in some warm water with a little bit of this cuticle remover. It has lanolin in it, which is so nourishing on the skin and helps to soften the cuticle area, which I plan to trim after. Let's do that. I'm gonna take these little cuticle nippers and carefully remove the excess cuticle, which reveals itself after all of the prep we did. It makes itself very known because you can see a little white thin line right around that area. I put so much emphasis on removing the oils or preventing them from getting onto my nail plate because it delivers exceptionally better results with this kind of diligence. And I used to use just little pieces of paper towel, but because I noticed it makes a huge difference to put this rubbing alcohol on the nail plate in this step, I got these little applicators, which are lint free. And I also use these in another step of my beauty routine with castor oil, and that's for my lashes at night. Now the nails are prepped and ready for the actual enhancement. Using some nail glue, I'm going to put a dot of this in the middle of my press-on. Without adding any more, I'm stretching it out and spreading it all over the area where my nail plate is. I'm spreading out that glue on my actual nail also, and I only added a little bit to my own nail, and this was so that it would meet with the other glue that I have on the press-on. That ensures a perfect adhesion with no little glue bubbles. So when you look around the edges, it all looks like it's perfectly adhered. If you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a thumbs up. This method is so clean and surefire, but if I do make a mistake, I'll just use some rubbing alcohol to remove the excess glue. Now here's what we're working with. Not all of them are the same length. Some of them are slightly longer, so I'll take a second to check and touch them up, making them a little bit shorter so they're even with the other one. This kind of detail work makes the manicure in the end look totally professional. And I know we often get these little files with our manicure kits, but a 180 grit file makes all the difference in speedily changing the shape of your nail and making it look sharp. I'm doing a glove switch to these UV protection gloves because we're going to add some gel and cure it under a UV light. Here is a kit that has 5 different colors of builder gel. Builder gel can be used in a multitude of ways. The actual product itself isn't like your average gel color because it actually builds on itself, and therefore it's almost stackable, where you can build a shape or a curve to your nail, even an extension, lengthening the nail. If you'd like to see more about hard gel in particular, leave a comment below and just say I want to see more about hard gels, because they can be used to do different things, but there's also a few things to know. Like, as you can see with this hard gel that I've used a few times, I'm probably running a little low. That, paired with the fact that hard gels in general take a little bit of a slower application hand, it means that I had a few areas I needed to add more product. I find hard gel in general fun to work with because you're able to build it up while you're working with it before you cure it, and there's no pressure because it's so slow to move. I added 2 coats of this builder gel, and I'm using a little more rubbing alcohol to prep and add this over each of my 4 fingers before adding 2 coats of the same builder gel. Now, one of my favorite techniques that I've ever learned when it comes to gel in general is to flip your hand upside down. My friend Jenny taught me about this, and it is fantastic. You get the benefit of gravity pulling all of the gel into a smooth line of light towards the middle or the apex of the nail. I'm doing 2 nails at a time, and then I'll do the other 2 with 2 coats, and then cure everything together. Builder gel stays sticky until you put a top coat to seal it. And that means that if I'm working, it's easy for lint to get trapped in my nails when they're still sticky. So I mattified or removed the sticky layer with some rubbing alcohol on my left hand so that I could work comfortably on my right hand until we do the final step. The final step is going to be top coat, but in terms of the color itself, this is it. I'm using OPI's Put It in Neutral, such a sheer special color that is not completely see-through, but it's almost completely undetectable. It acts like a tint or a BB cream, but for the surface of your nails. And behind this milky builder gel, it is the perfect nail color. Once I've cured that, I'm going to do something with a file, and that is just to file the edges of my nails. Where the builder gel and the color may have gotten a little thick on the edges, I'm going to file this off, which will serve two purposes. Of course, this is going to refine the edges of my nails, but it's also going to remove some of that OPI gel color just from the tips, giving a very slight ombre effect or brightness just to the tip of the nail. So it's almost as though it's a baby boomer French, but so gentle and subtle that it's almost undetectable. Because gel polish is thin enough that it moves and slides around the nail plate, when you use gravity, it collects into the most perfect shellac finish. Truly, there is such a difference in using gravity by flipping the hands upside down after each nail just before curing. So if you do your own gel at home, I highly recommend trying this out and wait until you see the line of light completely straight for the most perfect result. And now to nourish the skin that got exposed to a lot of rubbing alcohol, so it's a little dry, I'm going to use some cuticle oil, which is nourishing and something I like to do even throughout the week. This is good for my skin, and it also makes my manicure stay looking fresh for longer. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy this kind of content, you want to see more nails, leave a nail emoji in the comment section. I'm also going to link all of the products that I used today, especially those that make a huge difference in my routine, like the cuticle remover or the builder gel nail kit. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in my next video.